Okay, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So, a couple of people had expressed interest in my ham radio hobby that I took up this year. And here is my station. I got my license in December, and I've been looking at doing it for a couple of years and finally got around to doing it. Studied for about 3 weeks for the technician and general. Technician is the lower of the two. General is the medium tier, and then you have the extra, which gives you full band privileges, and I'm studying for that one right now. With the general, I get some privileges to do HF, high frequency, and that allows more international communications. And that would be like this right here is on 12 meters, and this individual is from Spain. He's DXing, and there's a big pileup. Getting in a pileup requires a little bit of luck and skill to get through, so I'm not going to bother right now. But I've been tuning around this morning, and I heard some people from Germany, Spain. I heard somebody from Saudi Arabia. Yeah, and this is all voice communications. If I'm doing data communications, then you get further connections. In the evening, it tends to be for me more local because I'm on 40 and 80 meters, and I believe because of my antenna height, I stay mostly in the United States, mostly in the eastern U.S. But that's beside the point. Let me go over my basic station. Sorry, my voice is breaking up. I've had a cold for about 4 or 5 days now. I took one more day off. My head was kind of clogged up this morning. I'll go to work tomorrow. It's not that bad, but my voice is breaking a little bit. But back to my station. There's 3 components here, which are kind of what I would consider the bare minimum of what you could put a station together with. You need a power supply, which is the bottom item, and that's a Samlex SEC 1235M. M gives you the meters. You don't really need the meters, but if you like to look at things, they're nice. And that was about $100, give or take, somewhere around there, and is more than enough power for this station here. But I wanted to have something that had some overhead, and I'd rather run something at 50% of capacity than 100%. The next item up is a Yeasu 857D that I picked up, and that right there runs around $850 brand new. That's the radio portion of it, and that's the part that's making the noise. And that is, I believe, the smallest all-band receiver you can buy. And it's a bit dated in technology. It's been out for somewhere around 10 years. But the reason I picked it up was I wanted something I could bring down to the cabin and have it be small. I don't want to have to lug a ton of stuff down there. I can leave some antennas and stuff up, but if I have to lug a 30-pound radio down, I probably won't do it. With that thing, if the whole stack there weighs 5 pounds, it's probably a lot. The item on top is my antenna tuner. It's from LDG, Z100 Plus, about $130, I think, 120, somewhere around there. So my whole stack comes out to just north of $1,000 for everything there. All the wiring is self-contained except for the antennas. So all that stuff can stay wired together, and all I have to do is unplug the antennas and the power line, and I put it away when I'm done. Because right now it is living, let's see here, on my end table. I don't have a lot of my stuff set up permanently yet, and I just have my antenna wires coming through the window, and when I'm done with it, I coil that up, and I hang it back out the window, and then bring it back when I want to use it again. There's two wires, because one of them is for VHF and UHF, and I'll go out in a little while and I'll show you my antenna setup, which for right now is temporary, but it'll be becoming more permanent as soon as the weather breaks. We haven't had a very strong winter, but I still don't feel like going up any more than I have to on a ladder, and working up high in the cold. Yeah, that's my basic setup. I have it plugged into my computer, and I'm using a program on my Mac that is in the background here. Mac DX Logger, and this does full radio control. So I have a USB cable that plugs in, and I can tune the radio right from my computer, which is really kind of cool. So I can keep a logbook in my computer and tie it in. I also do some digital mode stuff using a program called FL Digi, and I do that right from my Mac as well. And I'll do another video on that as a separate bit, because I did that on the cheap as well, just making up my own interface cables. Yeah, so I said I've had this set up for about 2 months now, and it's an older technology radio, and some people will, the noise reduction stuff for the stage, it's done it at the radio. It could be done better, but it's very, very reliable, very, very small, and it works. I'd like to get a bigger bass rig for here, and have this be more for portable use for bringing back and forth. This was expensive as it is for me, and spending several $1,000s on a bass rig is more than I can do, at least this year. And I've only been doing this for a couple months, so I'd rather pace myself. If in a year I decide I don't want to do this anymore, I can unload all this stuff and be out a couple $100s probably, and that's not too bad for a couple months of activity. I'd only be out. The radio I could probably get $600 for. Probably $800 for the package there. I'd be out $250 or so. So far I'm enjoying it. I've joined 2 local ham radio clubs. One I am fairly active in. The other one I'm not, just because their meetings the day of the week just seems to not work for me very well. So I'm going to stay a member of that one for a while, and because it's closer. But if I'm not active in a year, just because it doesn't work, then I'll stay active in the other club. It's really a great way to learn everything here. There are people who have been doing this for 50 years, or people who have been doing it for 2 years who are really, really active and know their stuff. And if you're geeky and like to talk about this technology stuff, it's a good group of guys and girls. There's a couple ladies in both clubs that I've met so far, but predominantly it's 95% male. I can go doing a more in-depth review on the Yeasu sometime. The other 2 items just seem to work, and I'm going to go outside in a little bit and do a video of the antenna setup, and that'll only be a minute or 2 because it's not a lot to show on that. But I'll talk about my antenna setup, and I'll put some links to it. Might as well go and do it now. I have nothing better to do. So I'll see you outside in a moment. Okay, so here where the 2 antennas come out of my living room, outside my house. And right where that little ball is right there is the bottom of my 2-meter antenna. It goes up to that string above, and it's just hung down from my gutter for right now. In another month or so when it's warmer out, that'll be going above the roof in a piece of conduit. It's just a piece. This is a J-pole, 2-meter J-pole I built using a piece of twin feed, and there's a snip in it about 10-12 inches up, and that makes it a J-pole. So the bottom of it is connected, so it kind of acts like one piece of wire, even though it's 2 pieces of wire inside that twin feed. And that works well. I can get up to about 35 miles of coverage out here. We are in very flat area of western New York, so that's not saying too much. But I can work 35 miles or so, give or take, with the mounted just the way it is. Then I have my HF antenna, which comes out here, goes through this spool of wire right here, and that actually has a purpose. It's an air balun, and then I have a 4-to-1 balun inside this little baggie here, and I'm going to look back at this someday and think about how redneck it all looks, but it's working right now, and it's a pretty basic setup. Then I have a piece of twin feed that comes out of the bottom, and it goes up all the way up to my back roof, and I'm going to walk around the backyard and show you the rest of the antenna. Okay, so this is the back of my house, and I live in a relatively urban area, so you know, you can see my neighbors' houses on both sides. And what I did was I went to Radio Shack, and they still sell antenna mounts for chimneys. I bought that and bought a piece of 10-foot conduit, mounted that on top, and it's just a wire as my HF antenna. It's a G5 RV variant, and I'll put the link to the actual variant I built. But it's a 95-foot piece of wire, runs over the roof of my house, and then back, and you probably can't see it at all, but my kid's swing set, which isn't in use right now because of the season, is that 2x4 that runs up off the top of it. And that's my antenna. And with that simple piece of wire, I'm able to work people 3,000 miles, 6,000 miles away. Very, very simple. And I bought a 500-foot spool of wire from Home Depot. It cost $50, which is kind of like a kick in the... but unfortunately the price of copper is pretty high. The twin feed that feeds it, I got that at Radio Shack. I think 100 feet was $20. And I used 33 feet to feed that. And all those numbers are actually important. You know, a 95-foot piece and a 30-foot piece. All the plans will give you the dimensions, and you really want to stick to those if you build something. If you buy somebody else's, they've done the testing. I do plan on getting an antenna analyzer this year, so I can tune this a bit. But with this antenna, I can use 10 meters up through 160, but at very little of 160 I can use 160 meters. Yeah, I get, and some days I can work it, and some days I can't tune it at all. But every other band I get good coverage on it, and I can tune all the areas that I've tried to. It's actually really cold out today. This hasn't been a very strong winter for us, but I'm outside right now, and it's one of the coldest days we've had since the first of the year, and it's about 20 degrees maybe right now, but it was 12 when we woke up. So I think I am going to call it a day. I'll put some links to both my antennas, so if anyone's interested in them, and if you have any questions, you can ask. But yeah, I've only been doing this for 2 months, so I might not be able to give you the as good of an answer as somebody else. But if people are interested, I can post more stuff on this. If they're not, that's okay too. Yeah, but it's been on my to-do list for several years now. And I would recommend, if you're going to do it, do it in the spring or the fall, so you don't have to get on your roof and put an antenna up. You know, the 10th of January. That was fun to put up there. But if I hadn't done it then, I'd be doing it now, or I would have had something else jury-rigged. Yeah, that's it for right now. I would expect more cabin videos to start showing up in the near future. We're going to go down this weekend, and I'll videotape that and see if any damage has occurred. We had a big windstorm came through with 60-mile-an-hour plus winds this past couple days, and we'll check for any damage. We've had probably 3 good windstorms this winter, so we'll check for damage that may have occurred, and remove any trees, get the chainsaws all fired up. But we won't be going back down to do any work for at least another month. Usually the end of March we start going down. The temperatures are warm enough. But for right now, I think that's it. And hopefully I didn't misspoke or anything like that. Like I said, this is all new to me. I'm still learning. And I got a couple other videos I can do that might be interesting to maybe a different audience than my other videos. But for now, thanks for watching.